from here is like, because we're born with these, things we call meat suits.
Meat suits. I was going to say, you call it a meat suit too?
Yeah. When we do this, it's very natural for us to think of the separation between the technology that we use and, these biological machines. That is what they are. These things are biological machines. That certainly seems to be a false separation. And in these realms beyond, I know that I don't understand them particularly well, but I also know that at the end of the day, when we're engaging in learning and discovery in that place, every single one of my encounters has been simultaneously hyper-technological and hyper-spiritual. And so it's put me in this position where I have to accept the fact that this place, and now that I've seen information below the quantum realm, it's really difficult for me to come back and say, no, that's just something that's separate from me. No, that's something that is a part of me. We're all made of light. We're all made of these things that vibrate. It certainly appears to be computational in nature, and our physicists are learning those facts right now. And so are we.
It's a really interesting practice that anybody can try. It basically said what you do is, before you go to do something super mundane, go to the store, bank, whatever it is, sit down on a couch, close your eyes for a second, and then imagine yourself there doing whatever you're doing, standing in front of a teller, paying for your groceries. But imagine it in as much detail as possible, what you're wearing, everything. Now, that's a very simple task because you're going to go do it. You don't need strong powers of visualization. And then you say, please deliver me there safely. Now you go do the thing, let's say in the bank, you're doing the thing with the teller. You obviously at that point don't have to close your eyes, but now project yourself back to the couch, imagine yourself sitting there and say, thank you for delivering me here safely. Now what that does, what it's designed to do is you're basically telling existence, you're telling the map, I understand how this works. I think I just kind of came here, but I literally projected an event that is now manifesting, that is now happening in reality, right? Okay, now this is the interesting part. Now to test that it's actually paying attention to what you conjure. Next time you're doing this, imagine one more detail that is a little more extravagant. Maybe somebody wearing a hat with a purple feather or something, and that delivering me there safely. Good, you're at the place. You will notice that very quickly what's going to start happening, and this is the test, anybody can test this. You might not immediately hit the exact mark, but you're going to all of a sudden, you'll see somebody with a handkerchief in their shirt and it's super purple, just like the color you mentioned. It's okay, well now start playing with that. You're literally building a new map that incorporates the technical rules of whatever the spiritual realm is actually operating under.
It's a practice.
It's a practice.
It's yes, but it's also it's a practice that has a name that I think that not enough people know about.
What's the name?
The constellation. So when you start to constellate, what you're doing is you're looking forwards in time and backwards in time, and you can, if you choose to, you can, and you constellate every day without realizing it. When you get in your car and you're just driving around, you're anticipating what that person is going to do. You're anticipating the light. You're anticipating turning and getting on the highway. You're anticipating things. And in the act of doing those things, you are in a fundamental way constellating. And it might be at a lower level, not choosing necessarily what you're going to wear for the day, or you can really start to constellate at higher and higher levels. And the more that you constellate what the possibilities are and the kind of possibilities that you want to encounter, the closer you can get to actually getting access to those things.
One of the first things I had to learn while working with psychedelics is in the beginning, I would think it was happening to me. I eventually realized that it was trying to communicate with me. And it was a one-sided communication until I had a very profound ceremony where they grabbed me, and let me know they were trying to talk to me. And then I realized, oh, it's talking to me. I can talk back. And then we started making progress. And I've had a big lesson in a ceremony, and it was you are always in ceremony. And so you start to realize that reality itself is trying to communicate with you. And it's communicating with you through symbols and theme and patterns.
All the time.
Events.
Right. Oh, yeah. And we're storytellers. And if you look at a screenplay or any storytelling, all you're doing is trying to create an interconnected pattern that shows people that growth, the pattern of growth, the pattern of change. And, that's amazing.